everybody, Raven Flower. Okay, so I have something I just created with the help of a few of my friends who I have been texting and talking to this afternoon. A 16 witchy question tag, because I feel like some of the questions that we have and some of those other tags are a little generic or sometimes maybe a little rougher. Then, you know, when you're just new to the path and you're trying to sort some of this stuff out, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around a lot of things, which I just found out because one of my friends, Miss Trina, was like, let's do this question. And she, it's a great question, but apparently I'm not smart enough to answer it because I don't even know where I stand in, in it just yet. But I have never professed myself to be an expert in any way, shape, or form. But I am learning, and I am happy to keep learning. So anyhow, without further ado, this is the 16 witchy question tags for 2016, and I'm sure it's going to go into 2017. So you guys are welcome to do it as often as you'd like. So number one. Do you have a witchy name? And did you, or how did you come by it? Do you have a witchy name, and how did you come by it? Yes, of course I have a witchy name. Some of you know that my real name is Yvonne. But I do have a witchy name by the name of Ravenflower, and I came upon it because I was stumped when I was first starting out as to all these different names. Everybody had these fabulous names, and I'm like, God, I don't know what I even have to offer, you know. And then I sort of looked down at my tattoo. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this tattoo was done after I did a bunch of ancestry work and found out that I am Scotch-Irish and also British. So so it's the two, and then I have the raven in the middle of it, raven/crow. I am a big Beatles fan, and so I love that song, Blackbird Singing in the Dead of Night. And I have always loved crows and blackbirds and Edgar Allan Poe and, you know, all that. Excuse me. I'm still getting over being sick, so you'll hear me, you know, chortle a little bit and cough, so please excuse me. So that's how I came about that. Okay, question number 2. Where are you located, and what brought you to that area, or were you born in that location? I was born in San Jose, California. I was raised in California, and I moved to Texas, San Antonio, because my ex-husband brought us here on temporary duty, and we divorced while we were here. and I met a new man, married and very happy to the bear, and I have stayed here. Now, I'm probably, some of you know that I'm moving. I'm moving to the Pacific Northwest at the end of or at the beginning of next summer. And I know it's sad in some ways because I've made some super duper connections here. Trina, tequila. And I'm going to miss them. I am really, really going to miss them. But, you know, technology being what it is, you know, it makes the world a smaller place. And being the fact that my adult kids are still here, I also have a mother-in-law and some other in-law family that are all still here. We are going to be coming back and forth quite frequently, and probably going to be in the, you know, San Antonio, Texas area 2 to 3 times a year. So Renaissance being one of those things. So I imagine if you know about the witchy meet and greet, that may become an annual thing if everybody truly loves it. So there. So that's that. No, I wasn't born here. So did I answer that question? I probably gave you too much information. Whatever. Okay. This one, little Miss Crescent Moon helped me with this one. Do you wear a special amulet or jewelry for spell work? I want to say yes, I used to, and that was my moonstone, and this is my new moonstone. Don't see them. Beautiful. which I got for my birthday from my husband because he was tired of me bitching about the moonstone that was no longer mine. I used to wear that all the time. I mean, you can see that in probably my younger videos, or my older videos, younger, newer, I don't, whatever. Used to wear that all the time. So I would charge it under the full moon. I would anoint it sometimes, but it was with me all the time. So my energy was in it, and I find myself doing that with this one. I have another very special moonstone coming, and I'm super excited about that one as well. So I'm going to see, what energies I get off of each one. When I was new to my path, I wasn't getting energies from stones, crystals. I got more from plants and music, it seemed. But now I think that I've tuned in. I've changed the radio station and I've tuned in. So now I do relate certain work with certain types of stones, and I tend to wear certain jewelry for certain spell work. Okay, favorite magical place or favorite place, I guess, to do magic. For me, favorite place, I get a lot of peace from definitely being at my dad's ranch. That whole mountain is just amazing. It's really amazing. You should definitely watch some of those videos if you hadn't seen them already. My garden, I do a lot of spell work in my garden, or I bring my garden inside, with the things that I grow and dry and use in my spell work here at my altar. And then there's also definitely by the sea. I used to live by the sea in a place called Goleta, California, Santa Barbara. It's just north of Santa Barbara, and it's considered still Santa Barbara, but they, kind of call it Goleta. It's like a suburb, if you will. And there was a place you could walk out and look over the cliff, into the ocean and whatnot, and surrounded by eucalyptus trees. And it was amazing, and that is probably one of my favorite places on earth. And I didn't realize back then that I was doing spell work or shadow work sometimes as well, in that spot. But that was my spot. That's where I wanted to go. That was my sacred space. And I wanted to go back this year when I went to California, but we just ran out of time. So I'm definitely got to go there again. I sort of feel it calling me. When things call to you like that, I've learned you best pay attention to them. So I don't shrug them off lightly anymore. Okay, favorite stone or crystal for magical workings. I think everybody has their favorite stones, but for magical workings, I would say that it depends on the magic that you're trying to do. Are you trying to release negativity? You want to use, I use shungite or black tourmaline. Now again, somebody's probably going to try to correct me here and say, well, you shouldn't use this for that. People use things for different people use different things for their magic. It may work different for you, works different for me. This is what I use, and this is what I do. But, moonstone, obviously moonstone is one of my favorite, one of my favorite things. Labradorite is also another one. I use, here, I'll even show you. I use this labradorite palm stone in a lot of my meditation. I got this from Sage Goddess when I was there in California. I had saw it on her Gem Show Insider thing, but it's lovely, and it's just only one side that's polished, but you can see, I don't know if you can see, yeah, I guess you can a little bit, even in the rough you can see all the different flashing. But this is one of the ones that I use, definitely meditation, and this last full moon, new moon, last new moon, the double black moon, I was definitely using that. Also use, quartz for amplifiers. I even, this sits underneath my camera, underneath my phone for every video that I do. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I'm actually doing spell work as I'm recording. I don't know if that answered that question, but there you go. Let's see. That was number 5. Number 6, how long have you been practicing and how did you come to this path? I have been on and off practicing for quite a while, doing things that I wasn't really sure was witchcraft, actually. I guess more kitchen witchery. Always been in the kitchen mixing up stuff, mixing up, mud pies while I was a little kid, on the side of the house, trying to sell it to neighbors. I was trying to sell mud pies to neighbors. But, I realized that I've been putting my energy into a lot of what I had been doing. My artwork throughout the years, different craft projects I would do for people, even my scrapbooking. I was putting my intentions and my energies into those things. So I had been practicing for a long, long time. When I was in my mid-20s, to late 20s, I definitely wanted to practice and would visit shops and, was trying to go down a Wiccan path, but I got overwhelmed by the time and the day and the how do I do this and there's a cloth for that and you have to use this chalice and this candle, and I just got overwhelmed, and I think I was too impatient to really pick it up and learn at that time. And plus it was a really bad time in my life. I was going through a custody battle and divorce, and then also a new marriage and being a stepmom to 2 new kids plus my daughter, and it was just it was a mess. I wasn't very grounded in that time frame, so I'm glad I didn't start my path then, but my interest was there. So here I am, 42. Hello. And now picked it all back up and found a different way of going about it. Let's see. Number 7, do you have a deity, god, goddess? How did you connect? Yes, I do. I actually have 3. I have 3 main deities that I work with. And as I am getting further in my path, I find that there are other deities that I do want to work with. I have my main 3, and they are, I feel that they've been with me this entire time. So my main goddess is Bridget, Bast, and Aphrodite. Those are my girls. Bridget's been with me for a long, long time, and I think that there were some dark, lonely, sad places I was at, and I felt her, and I definitely felt Bast, and I felt Aphrodite at different times in my life, and I knew that they were there, and so it wasn't a surprise to me when I connected with them. I was so, I don't want to say desperate because that's not the word, but I was so intent on trying to find my goddess, the right way, and how do I get it? My third eye is not opening, and I was just so scatterbrained about that for the longest time. And when I finally just let the hell go, and when I just let shit go, and started coming into my own, feeling comfortable in my own skin, trusting myself, really. They just came to me, and it was like a flood. I was at the Crystal Mystic, one of the places that I videoed a couple of times, and I had an Akashic record session with my friend Edward, who is extremely talented, and you guys totally need to check him out. He's amazing. His wife is also a wonderful person, Reiki master, and also is intuitive. But Edward I had walked in, and he's just like, oh my God. He's like, the female goddess energy is coming off of you right now. He's like, this is different from when you were here the last time. And when I'd gone to him first, I needed I needed help. I had something very negative and nasty attached to me, and I really think that he saved my life. I really can, I can say that, you know, emotionally, he saved me. I had something nasty attached to me, and I couldn't quite get a grip. And so the first time he detached that, and I had peace and let go stuff, and could actually start my practice. So that was a big deal. It was a big deal for me, and that was a year ago. So the second time, he was just like, oh my God, like, what is going on? He's like, there's this, there's this, there's this. He's like, he says, Bridget. He's like, Bridget, I'm getting the name Bridget. He's like, and Bast. He's like, an Aphrodite too. He's like, he's like, this is unusual that three goddesses would be attached to one person at a time. But you know what? I don't think that it is. Let me explain why. Because as I'm going through my process, I have felt, you know, in my Christian walk, I had a really strong connection with God. You know, there'd be times I'd be overwhelmed and just crying from love, not from exhaustion or any kind of drama or anything, but, you know, overwhelmed by the Spirit, if you will. And I really feel in my heart, I really feel that God is everywhere. God is everything. Spirit is spirit. And we all call God different things. So I feel that the deities are the different facets of God. I'm sure I'm going to get some grief on this or whatever, but that just seems to be my take, and I am at peace with that. I mean, I'm really at peace with that, and it took a long time to get there. But I feel that I work with Bridget for certain things. I work for Bast for certain things. I work for Aphrodite for certain things. I look over there because they're behind you here on my altar, staring at me, watching. But, you know, I can also see myself working with Maat for certain things. I can see myself working with Medusa, which there's some, when you do some research on Medusa, there's talk that Ma'at and Medusa is the same, depending on which cultural, you know, history book you're looking at. I'm not sure about that, but I don't know. But, you know, I also feel a pull towards Ganesh. I also feel a pull towards the horned god, probably because of my love for nature, you know. But I mean, what was the question now? I've lost. Oh, how did I connect with my goddesses? So I feel that depending on the spell work that you're doing, depending on the things that you're going through in your life, that you may have more than one deity. I know that there's some out there that's like, I only work with Hecate and that's it. Well, that might change for you. I can definitely tell you that that might change. That might change. You may not necessarily want to disrespect Hecate by any means at all. Like, I mean, these three are my main girls. They are my goddesses. I believe that they're watching over me, they're protecting me, loving me. They're part of my life and have been for a very long time. But I also feel that these are goddesses. They are not human beings, and I do not agree with the school of thought that you can't work with this goddess because that other goddess is going to get jealous. They're goddesses. They're gods and goddesses. These are deities we're talking about. So they're not going to have the same aspects, human aspects, as we are, because they're so far above us. They're not on our same plane. They don't have jealousy. They don't have temper tantrums. They don't, you know, they're not real wives of, you know, real housewives of Atlanta. I mean, not going to get in each other's face and all that other stuff. I just don't feel that, you know. These are gods. These are gods and goddesses that we're talking about. So let me get off of that soapbox. So that's where I am with that. Okay, favorite incense or smudge? Well, favorite incense or smudge. definitely, you know, I'm a frankincense girl. I love me some frankincense. I just do. I love the way it smells. I love what it does for me as far as my arthritis in my hands and my knees and my hip, my feet sometimes. It's just an all around wonderful stuff. But I like that more in oil form, you know, essential oil form, not necessarily smudge or incense, you know, that I burn. I have burnt it before, but boy, it stinks up the house and there's a whole lot of smoke, and didn't go so well for me. It didn't go so well. But I do really enjoy cinnamon. Cinnamon is something that I burn quite frequently. I love oh gosh, I love clove, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, those types of things. I'm a spicy girl. And I like the Spice Girls too. So I'll tell you what I want. What I really, really want is more incense. So yes, I use that. I use those a lot. Let's see, what else do I do? Dragon's blood is another one I love. I already said the frankincense. Also, from my garden, sage. I mean, I love sage. I actually have made up a little sagey incensey mix for Samhain, and this has all kinds of stuff in it. Actually, it even has some mugwort. It has sage from my garden. It has mint from my garden, sage from the mountain, apples. I already said cinnamon. Did I say cinnamon? Cinnamon. And there's a little bit of rosemary from the mountain in here. I've got rose petals in here. And you would think, oh, I also have mugwort in here. So this is definitely one that you're going to want to sniff and smell. But it's like a sweet, it's just like a sweet spicy mix. It's not pungent. It's kind of different. But I think that's because of the mint. And there's also clove in here as well. So that's probably my new favorite. And that's actually going to a friend. I don't have a whole lot of it, but that's my new favorite right there. Okay, and there's Bear coming in. He always got to come in. Hello, Bear. What you bringing me? You bringing me something tasty? A pizza roll. Bring me pizza roll. Oh, pizza roll. See that? Oh, what do you have now? What is this, babe? I got an apron. I got an apron, look. A witchy apron for me. Thank you, babe.
Goodbye.
That's really sweet.
I'm going to Target Castle.
Oh, okay. So nice to me. I swear to God, I don't deserve this man. I really don't. He's like the sweetest thing. Look at this sweet little apron. Look at the witches. Look at the little black cats and the bats. Oh my God. I love it. That witchy apron. I'll wear it right now. Okay, so I've got pizza rolls apparently for dinner. I don't know where I was. Now I'm just so happy. Okay, okay. Have you ever had to clear a space of a negative entity? Yes, I have. We've had a couple in this house before we were practicing, things that like to attach themselves to me. An interesting story was I was actually visiting a friend back well before I was a witch, but they knew that I was an empath. This spirit knew I was an empath, and I think was just very lost. And so I was leaving my friend's house, got in my car, and when I got in my car, there was something in the back seat, and it was just staring at me. And when I look in the rearview mirror, it was like one of those spooky, scary movies. You're like, you adjust the thing, and then there's somebody looking at you. It was very similar to that, but it was somebody who had just recently passed away in the neighborhood. It was a female, and it was very angry in the fact that I was ignoring it and wanted me to do something, but yet I wasn't getting any words from them. So I was getting frustrated and scared because it was getting clearly more and more agitated with me, and I didn't know what it was saying, and I didn't know what it wanted. And back then I was, going through a Christian path. And so it's like, don't commune with the dead. Do not, don't associate with the dead. and I thought that that would protect me, and it didn't. In fact, this thing tried to possess me. It really did. It did. And I got home. I put my I called my husband, put my phone on speaker, and I'm like, "What do I do? I don't know what to do." And he's just like, "You need to stay calm. You just need to stay calm." And he's like, "And then call me when you get here." And I'm like, "I don't want to bring it home with me." So I I parked the car, and I refused to go into the house, and I sat on our porch swing, and just sort of, it was like it was with me the entire time. It just wouldn't leave my side, and it really wanted me to go inside. And at one point, it was, like screaming at me, and I was just sort of like cowered, kind of like this on the porch swing, didn't want to look at it, was scared to. I was frightened. I was really frightened. Well, I had to cleanse myself, and back then I was praying and doing whatever I could to get rid of it. I ended up falling asleep on that porch swing, and my husband came and got me, and he actually did a smudging, and I didn't exactly know what all that was about, but he kind of went through the house in his own way, and cleared the house of some stuff. And I hadn't seen or heard from it again. So there is that. I've got lots of stories like these. I mean, I could go on forever. I should probably write a book, but I don't, because I am dyslexic and not a scholarly kind of gal. All right. Ooh, a lighter one. How your favorite witchy show or movie? My favorite witchy show, and I'm so pissed off, y'all. I am mad. I'm angry mad that it's not in rotation anymore. But I really was digging Witches of East End. I loved that show, and I loved it because it was pagan. It had that pagan aspect, and then the whole Asgard thing. I loved it. Loved it, loved it. And then if I had to pick a favorite witchy movie, I don't think I could. I know everybody loves Hocus Pocus, and everybody loves practical magic, and I do too. I do. Good God. Maybe, this is not necessarily witchy, but one of my favorites is Labyrinth. I love Labyrinth. And then I also love The Last Unicorn. The Last Unicorn. And there's witches in The Last Unicorn, so why couldn't that, be witchy? So I'm going to say that, because that was like one of my favorites growing up. Okay, number 11. What do you do to help raise your energy before spell work? It depends on what kind of day I had, but if I'm doing spell work after work, I will generally, I gotta smudge myself. I will rosemary, Palo Santo, or Palo Santo. I should have put that for one of my favorite smudges. I like me some Palo Santo. But I will do that, sage myself somehow, some way to get the funk off. And I try to do that before I get to my room, because I don't want to bring those energies into my altar, or into my altar sacred space. So before I enter my room, I will cleanse myself down, and then usually put on music. Ooh, excuse me. I done burped on camera. Such a classy broad. Please excuse me. Anywho, yes. So usually put on music. And music is the one thing I would say, candlelight is another one. Taking, like those cleansing showers, and kind of like get re-energized from the water is another thing. But definitely my go-to after the cleansing is music. I can change those energies depending on my playlist, really. And I get a lot of energy from that. Okay, let's see. Number 12. Do you see this is one that Trina helped me with. Do you see yourself, let's see, what is this? Oh God, I wrote half of the question down. I transferred it so that I could read it. Now I can't read it. Do you see yourself helping others magically? Yes. Yes, absolutely. I see myself helping others magically. Not necessarily that I do like spells for everybody. I don't, but definitely in the kitchen, with like my oils or spell bottles, things like that. I feel that I can help people magically that way. So that's what I do. I am known to do a couple of other things, but I will not advertise that because y'all are going to start requesting it, and don't know if I'm ready for that yet. But for my friends and family, I certainly do. Okay, now that I've piqued your interest, let's move on to the next question. Okay, what is your preferred form of divination? This is tough. Okay, so apparently I guess I would be clairvoyant. I talk to the dead. Sometimes see the dead, but definitely dead people want to ask me questions and ask for help and things like that. This usually happens during a tarot read. Not me getting the tarot read, or actually not me doing the tarot, because I don't know how to do tarot. I have Edith has given me a wonderful book, and I've seen what Arwen can do and all this other stuff, but I want to learn tarot so that I can learn tarot, so I have that knowledge. But I still don't know what the heck I'm doing because I haven't been able to give 100% to it yet. But I intend to. I also want to look at tea leaf reading, and I got some wonderful tea leaf teacups for that purpose. I also want to do that. But during these sessions somebody else could be having a session, especially at these holistic fairs or these coexist fairs, when there are a lot of readers going on, I've got ancestors, not mine, other people's, coming out the woodworks trying to talk to me. I usually get overwhelmed. I usually feel sick. I have to go out. I have to go back in. It's a mess. So I've actually stopped going to those types of things because I need to learn how to ground myself a little bit better before I go into that type of thing. But I'll get, as people are getting their cards read, usually an ancestor will pop up and want to chat and talk and all that other stuff. So I guess that is my preferred form of divination. I think I also do some smoke and fire scrying because I sort of get hypnotized by fire, and it's probably why I love the candle work as much as I do. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Okay, 14. What element do you work with the most? What element do I work with the